Kaif.
Yeah.
What happened?
Abaraka abedure ne adura nu wala atina wato man soto no kampanyo ning mansi fana wadi soto tam findinin dale so birinna ta fana woni political ndanyo kono so manna no barbiton kayafu men kala je dal political kala je don aduta jele you know so bayrim political tolbe wala kono to ka balu wala so ko du kala je dal to ka ge wala nyama ko abe political kono nga hamo ke pour kadum na candidate of file as usual candidate me alon ko nana benu jele before nata na hamo so pour ka murundi je fente fo nga jiko men sotala bara al nata ke ko laban bla dal beri result announced ka tawnin to man na o gagner NPP ndonyo le gagner NPP yeah
But munekeda because I'm na kiang
yeah
Mr. Labuko, kian mala fixed deposit. It looks like you have lost grip of that. Neither from the presidential election.
No, man grip loose.
No, it looks like it.
Honey, man grip loose.
Yeah,
Yalom carte politico. Abel come examo. What do you prepare very well? Examos ne boy.
Yeah.
But asake ko man grip loose. You still have the competence. You still have the energy. You still have the wherewithal. You understand? So election will become fencho examo. So, but that doesn't mean ko nga grip loose. Still
no, but yeah, man call it grip loose because Nico, for example, in politics, Nico jamu karda baki atleti, woman nyuso so wobuka nyuso so soto. For example, in America, Nico New York, New Jersey, hani election o makate mamfai, mbuka nyinenkaro ke fanjumale ganyela, automatically iko count for the Democrats because yal neko is a blue state. Natra atolko altara fale kiyam kumandiko kiyam mala baki atleti. Manya nasira ka kiyam faunka sinka, we should just conclude ko womu not conclude but nyan abekela fere me anko bebel mira ko new kind is a foregone conclusion formality on drong. That's what you call your backyard. Can we rightfully say ko sayenko kia mankala fixed deposit?
No, kia is always and will always be our. Just let me explain. Election, a lot of factors like are determined.
Okay.
Even though, like you said, it may be the case ko Nicole na backyard automatically you win. Yeah, but you look at other factors also, especially currently, what are the prevailing circumstances in terms of who do we rely on as our voters, and what do we rely on, and what prevails during the elections or election process. Look at, for example, migration. Migration into the Kiyama bucket. You understand? And most of those we rely on to vote for us are the young people.
Yeah.
A lot of young people in Kenya has migrated through the back way, they call it the irregular migration and all the stuff. And also a lot of influences again. I heard in the news these days somebody challenging that, but that is the reality. How much government is trying to invest in terms of inducement, in terms of intimidation. You understand? People subdue, and in various forms to subdue, to expose the locals to those intimidation, to subdue government wish and wishes, caprices. This include the local leaders and opinion leaders. So Nyumanka story, we were there. Even this election, it was very prominent. The governor, the police commissioner, the immigration commissioner, and other influencers, even the government ministers and all, going to compounds of alcalis, chiefs, and influential persons to intimidate them. Because the idea is you vote, or if you don't vote, you lose.
I'm sorry, I don't want to bring family ties to this, but it's the reality. I don't know how to.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I think the alcalo of Kayafuela, Uncle Nomfoy, Bari Nomfoy, Badi Nomba. He's the alcalo. At some point, he had to go to people and tell them, let them vote for NPP. If not, he might lose his position by Mirakam oppositionality. Did you guys hear this claim?
Yeah, whether Kaif or all others. In the Kaif world, it happened. We have clear information about governor going to visit alcalis and even prominent people and agents to influence them or to talk to them to intimidate where necessary, even to tell them if they do not vote for the government, the NPP candidate, they stand a chance of having a problem with government. And I overheard in one of the meetings from court, one of the speakers was saying, Kaif, addressing Kaif, almu safe bankolum safe sata. So you will never know until you lose your chieftaincy. So, and that was a public address. Ibe di amala Kaif unkole Kaif ko na make ku jamu safe sata old. Nal make careful nal yalla safe ya lose wal alba safe ya naf alon. So that is pure intimidation, and this is not like mole offended. Want to follow my life, you know. So war coupled with a lot of other things. Many they are directed to the people. You know, of course, will. Where do you have a space for a governor to go and meet?
But then, at this point,
political meetings.
But at this point, false daliwala because mimu president ya file open le ko governor be campaign kala safeol bakela alkalol bakela because man sakundale ke jo, even though.
But that is unlawful. But it's unlawful. I mean, and it doesn't show a good sign of leadership. Ko president si lo no la fo mo le albanko luatinya because nte batinya. That is very, very, very unfortunate of a president. Ika banko mol address ika ko al banko lu ante bina atinyala ali pare mbe banko lu atinyala. So what does that mean? It doesn't set a good sign. So exactly that is what happened. Governor me alonko is a typical civil servant attending political meeting of NPP. Why didn't he come to attend the UDP political meeting? Going after Alcalos. We have evidence of that. We at some point we have to also even make some contacts to protest and request that it's not be done. But that's what we can do, and we have some claims where it should go to make. But those are some of the factors. Because alkalo yaje ko ning ya claim na kombe jala ni manke ko bembola. Look at Bantanja.
Yes.
And a similar thing can happen to any of these alkalis in the kiosks. If it were not also Ntola approach, because we went up to a stage to avoid an alkalula soul mukalef kataji dala. Not because we inkafiale, but these are people who are our own parents, who are our own, badingul in our communities, from Kabada villages to the Maninka settlement, because Kabada is predominantly the fuller settlement. We have to protect them, because for us, we need to be clean in our politics. So at a jarlanye, no more do not a family exposed to threat. So sometimes at a jarlanye fonka, because I remember we went to one of the communities, I will not mention the community, ntala je fum fra je dala, but ni alkalo la kola manja fanyola punga mitunga ye sira hollo je Johnson ot nko ko alga boje mbota je fonda almost off town na mitunga je. You understand? Not because it's Sila, because there is no way in Sila. But these are close communities for your protect. So will be a full influence and kind of certainty. And where you have a chief like that meeting with Kering, more Michael that have a safe kundano kolego. Ali Keku, safe Balaja, now but Altana Falana Botaja. All I'm going to go. If we lose this seat, you stand to see your chief removed. So, and these are these are people many muntul fall where that has influenced us directly, but that has influenced our electorates.
But what are you going to do about that? Because the election year, we are already January before. In fact, 10 months into elections, right? NPP and President Barrow is not going to go back on this. If you continue in trend,
we are going to build resistance.
You cannot just claim that they are doing this and that's it. So that means they will continue to win and you guys will continue to lose if nothing is done about it. What are you going to do about that?
That may be the case, probably. That may be their plan, game plan, but that will fail. Because you know what? It's not going to continue. Because we've already learned our lesson. Not a monkey intimidation, we would have won these people massively.
Wait, is it that you guys were also overconfident?
No, we were not overconfident because we know.
Of Masembe, were you guys overconfident?
No.
Because looking at our campaign and some of the videos that were coming out, one thing NPP did, and I told Lamin Cham this before election, I kind of have a feeling that NPP will win. Will win this election. I go why? Because in the Masembe election, what I saw was MPP a lot of noise like create. UDP voters most likely ntela pattern ngamin je wolong wataji bayo je wonole nin ku kede hey ñinu baydi be ñilala sidi ñañul be bita kam fengi ñul be bita jang alla ko mo mol be wolte tata and that really helped in Masembe, right? Because bengal ne ko mo jamal kabo mo santo to mol be bi janne ko di. But in this election, NPP played it very cool. It dante jele, but noise ma wara kom Masembe election warta nyami. In fact, this time, noise warta tolela side to than it all when it comes to the media space. They kept it very low because they knew ko ning noise warta bake akatola more energized le.
Yes, and because we taught them a lesson in Masembe. So
and they taught you a lesson in this one.
The reality is they know that game will not work.
But it worked. No, the first one.
We are more built up with energy than them. You understand? Well, it didn't work well for them. So this time around, what they did was they played dirty. You know, we got information these people were, that's their game. That is their game. Use money. They tried it in Masembe, it couldn't work. This time around, they tried again, and they tried also to intimidate. You understand? So that is very common of NPP. We do clean politics. We all campaign freely without government interference. Whoever wins, win. That is what is expected of a good democracy. Okay? But they played it all the way. So come like here, they will continue that. They will continue, but it's not going to work because. We had a meeting just a few weeks ago with IEC, myself, governor, and some other stakeholders. And I severely, put it to the IEC that some of the malpractices and some of the misbehaviors of government agents, particularly governors, cannot work, or chiefs or other agents of government, because they are not supposed to. And if they are supposed to prevent misunderstanding and some maybe violence somewhere, they have to address the situation. That is, the governors have to stay away. That is, the chiefs have to stay away. Because we all live in the same community where you do not have control over me. And if you want to overstep, we stop you. Like what? Because we have seen in instances where government will use paramilitaries to go and escort voters. Why, if it is in line with the electoral laws and rules and regulations, why do you escort people to the police station? Why do you escort people to the police station? So government always is guilty of that. That is, the ruling government of NPP is guilty of playing dirty. Where you have, like me, I go to the police station and vote freely. As a chairman, I am not escorted by any civil security agent. So why should you go to the border to escort people to come and vote?
Do you think there was any cross-border voting this time?
No, to be frank, that may be very minimal. I have to be frank with that.
Okay.
That may be very minimal. But on the other side, what I said could have played a very big role. So, like I said, this must be a clear message to IEC.
Yeah.
Borders community accept where even not border community, but come state agents can use nyame. That will not go. What a continental. And until when we get to election processes, like we go into the election period of 2026, we will see the realities.
Do you think, because I have heard people say, alka voter intimidation, like for example, alka modole, for example, they agree that a lot of people believe that there was sometimes last voter registration, some people they have voters cards the more believe to go wo allegation also Seattle. Now, but ni more voters cards to already ababulo kono. Alka te vote killer. do you think psychologically I can play in the minds of other minority communities to look atul man la feel, and this has what NPP has always used against you. Being amola alama nema ninka farkila dembo by force akafo sido le ko ni ñu gagnéta atul te win la jam. So imamira ko continuously natural kalka mol stop from voting, that mindset ye means so will always stick. Do you guys sit and evaluate on that kind of message?
Fatu, we have to be frank. Nyana tonya fala nyoen.
Yeah.
Banko nal kay yirwa ay kayro sural ka tonya la fa nyoen. Wala na we having some complications here and there. Because mulekata I don't think will kuma sifal will because alama kafar ne makala badembo anat na fala ko, you know, he was doing his politics to get it.
But I never far. He stick in a lot of people's minds.
Kanale.
And he played well.
So nga kanale nga understand.
Yeah.
Ate mem fo ayo fole. Ado akati hake nyine kama pula politiko. But we damage ima yeka court. No we do ima court jan sign. Yeah. So we are not talking about Gambia today. But mira kan Gambia la bi someone is in there. Say neo damage create because of your UDP hate. You are creating continuous hatred in this country. There is a lot of friction here and there. It's because Nabanko exposed to a lot of hate. You understand? It's very unfortunate. I never expect more. I wish we cannot remember it.
Yeah.
Man laughing no sifal remember. How do you think? Come misal you know, we in our right minds. Mo me alonko banko di wala kaito babul. Jum banko luwa bankol. Luwa aitan le menya na carte kaito solla. Luwa aitan le menya na wulu kaito solla. Luwa aitan le menya na passport solla. Luwa aitan le menya na carte faila kaito solla. Luwa aitan le menya na carte faila. Nya na carte faila nyame luwa o beitande. So ni aje molbe modo kalamila ko carte o me ababula man correct. Then muna le maka dol clip kalami. Muna le maka dol kalami. So UDP has no man coming ngani jawya soto moy. Adon amanka UDP fanan dammat. Anyana kala banku di mbel concern na ko men banku di yalem. Nim banku di yalem ko be kam mo le claim men yalan ko banku di ngol mi manka woti. O manka UDP damal do ko wonyana kala man sakundal primary responsibility la woti. In fact e ka UDP la jalay wala bar man sakundal nyana jalay la wala. Because man da ko sundal marta kaje ko jumalam banku di wonti ay kayto so. Jumalam man ka banku di wonti amanya na kayto so. Ba nim man sakunda felta wala fo i kaje ko UDP la ka ko kele o man ka UDP la malti o man sakunda la maloti. And I hope everybody understand it that way. Ko UDP kamile ke wala mnyindi ko nyim banko la interest ultimately wanya na kala bela miroti.
But do you think it's politically it's hurting UDP about hot can?
No,
because of more cardinyami. More cardinyami.
No, ni I am hunt then it means
hot come hot. Yeah.
I am baramadame wa ma isa lon ko mol men ma la tonyala wala be o mirala. You understand? But UDP load la jelleta kaje ko mol men yalon ko la nyanto pareta tinyala ibe selo ko no bang ibe bantala bang moli bansakunda kula kela bang wando kudo kete bang men be bakwewo kan lo ye ka kelo ka kaje ko banku dingol lam e nyanne la nyanto sorlal UDP o kela jelle kany banko kanja journalist wol lam bang no security service lam bang ye men nyanto tinya muna le mol bukay dalo wol kay yol fo UDP ka lo kendo menga kaje ko nyim banko e betea. You understand? But ni UDP ko banko men nyana carte o fayla banku dimul wala nyana carte o fayla muna no bekala kasoti nada ko men banku din kendol mol ke mira e nyane mira nyam ye banko kanu UDP ye memfo banku dimul la nyana carte o fayla adu wala be kayto bala ni man ka banku dimul imanya na carte o fayla o man ka kasti bar muna la mol mbuka o ko nyi jube o nyama fe ka toni ka itandi mol do la banku men man ka banku dimul ko UDP mal la fal UDP wala kala jelle ka jam men yalan ko man ka banko dimuti bari ila nyanto pareta nya UDP lota wole sinya jelle kawul la kelo ka kaje ko ina fa meson. Broad example is new roadside sellers.
Yeah.
You know ka wafiro ka sila dan authentic. We know ko a good number of them are non-Gambians.
Yeah.
But biri ya start kela baka sol boy masakuna kela dal boy. UDP man findija kayta ndi ko ko nyi jawyande ko ñun fa lan kela balwo so janna. Including Gambian men be sila dan muna ne mallo ya fako UDP manyana men manka banko don UDP fela ibela nyanto kelega ngendo fulan folale. So these are things many alon ko banko din kendo kay fo but ibuka mol bula monoma kaje ko rek ye comme ye men foto na alpha malaf ka tofo na alpha nyi menketen kele but you know I hope we don't even remember it because I damage bala create not for UDP but for nyim pour nyim banko because I hate the dundi nyim banko ko.
Yeah.
It's a very big hate speech.
Yeah, it
and
is.
it's I lua for tinyal. Yadel. Lua tinyal because hate speech is not in line with proper eventual law. So but we cannot go far into that. But until after Minagla, Gambia no be understand na. Wala mo nyimti ko UDP mo nyim banko dingol. UDP ko mo nyim banko dingol. UDP ko ye silo sotle ye loi sotle pour banko la ko ye da dunje mais pour banko dingol adim pour banko la ko ye da dunje pour men manka banko dingol. Because UDP ka bela kelo.
Yeah. But saying back to Kaif, voting pattern, near voting pattern jibe from Masembe, even though ale Masembe win and in Kaif, I take election of jibe with voting pattern and malum for especially from LRR. Apart from the election, I think you have made a lot of inroads in other communities that are not Mandinka settlement, right? Kabada, you have made a lot of inroads. Yes. But when it comes to subsequent elections, UDP does not make those inroads. In Kaif, in Masembe sate kono. Ni UDP keme filosoto, UDP NPP ka keme lesoto. Alka farate male. But ni tata kabada nyolda ni usate dolto, ning NPP keme seisoto, UDP ka talu lesoto. Gap minka tare it all strong to daming. They win with a big margin. At all strong to daming, alka win 10. And this has been NPP strength. Yeah. Look at election of Mintambita in Kaif. Yeah. In Kaif, alla polling station do atole 217 soto. It will be 100. Alla polling station do ali often 200 something 24. It will be 1 something. Now you go to Medina Sancha. Yeah. Ila polling station floor near Bekafu, it only 696 lesoto, atole 76 soto. Ika gapo jel. In your strongholds, alnika karte faral. Atolka, let's say if you guys get 60%, they get 55%. You understand? 45, 60, 55. But it only area to 95, 5%. That's where the gap kawara. Even though all strongholds ke big communities, but it called the minute area to akawara. And this has been the voting pattern. NPP, and this is why I always tell people, data is important. I compared this to suppress the vote in the last data, right? Where yatandiko NPP, ibuka outright wins to dual beto to win the election. If you look at Kenyami, ikatara hangrin tenne. Nitara base. Nibe UDP dana itol katara 95 or 85 UDP 15. Nitara CRR tara 85 or 95 UDP 15. Ninata West Coast. Neither Brekama, me along predominantly Mandinka communities on Sifalu, UDP will but NPP Katare Komale right behind them. But neither all Joswang and all Yunduma Ninjin community to me uncle Ikajako, Nitol be UDP Dana, Kedam Baleke, then Gab Solka Soro Walleto. NPP la politics is very tactical. They don't win outright, but ika hangle. And that tolu, you're only strong in your areas, but Allah strong for Nambuka. You're not making inroads in communities that NPP is leading well. Hani sahin ka wo pattern leji. Ali ojele bang Allah ni election of anant.
Yeah, ngajele fatu, but just a point of correction. I think yes, yeah, midladul for fine. I agree with you, but some other places. Like Brikama, when you come to Brikama North and others. NPP manager a big margin them. But Amanda Wala, you come to Jaduma Ward, in other places, Kiang, Julafar, and other places. We still have the grip in LRR. But let's come to Kaif, so that Nkalangina. Kaif, near voter, like a pattern member. Okay, near Kaif Juve, about 600 didn't vote, or a little over 600 didn't vote. Mom vote. So winning mem vote Medina Kaif is almost equal. Mom vote Kaif.
In Kaif.
Mom vote Kaif is almost equal to mom vote Medina Kaif. So when I'm going voter behavior, I implication also bakele. So it's either one na voter sol le manna ka vote anyama one or na voter sol man vote or because in that follow be fatal or a data matter. Yeah. But ni na jube ni will be imagine will be a voter we would
that also is saying something.
So,
actual mobilization then is weak because a chunk like 600, right? That is a lot of votes.
But yeah, until election, it was a different story.
Yeah.
Some kind of voter behavior, it can change based on prevailing circumstances.
But let me say this. Let me make this clear. Nka patan mean for it. Nga korosi kabiring generally, how do you call it? Masembe.
Masembe, yes.
Nga jeleko. Atole Masembe win. But if you look at the numbers, beneath the numbers, ikajela atol ka win daminuto. Alka nyunu da nyaming abuka wara. Compared to itol ka dan daming woka warale. And then ning election of fananto nga the same pattern leje. Nga for albo pattern read kane, and I see similar pattern in national elections fanang in certain a lot of the areas.
Yeah, but we are aware of it. So very important to mobilize our voters that will vote for us. I know Kaif member vote near if you analyze it well, I can comfortably tell you member vote near Jube. We have the voter list. We went through it. We run through it.
Yeah.
Even though Malafinga Mengije ka expose. You understand? Because voter list we have it. Voter list will be collected. Minimum vote. Some of them we know them personally. No more do men young long. Minimum vote. You understand? But this is election.
Yeah.
And this is politics. You understand? So, you understand? A lot of factors can determine it. So, more 600 plus, Kaif started to can you vote? And we get them near quantify, I'm sure, close to 80% be UDP. You understand?
Yeah.
And we know what is responsible of some of those things. Intimidation, what is responsible of some. So, we have to work on that. Come like coming for mobilization, we have to increase our mobilization, and we have to increase on our strategies. That's true, because it never stops. We continue, you know. But remember, UDP is UDP challenging the ruling government. You know, so those fluctuations are bound to happen because suki, when I bring a Masembe suki, yeah. So the more they overcome us in certain way, the tactics read well.